Is improving your productivity or time management anything that has ever intrigued you? If so, then you're probably familiar with the Pareto Principle, commonly known as the 80-20 rule. You may find out more about it in this video if you're unfamiliar with it. According to the Pareto Principle, roughly 20% of your efforts will produce 80% of your results, accountable for producing 80% of the outcomes. And in a minute, I'll clarify what I mean by that. The Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto is credited with conceptualizing the 80-20 rule. This rule was initially apparent to him in his own garden. He found that just 20% of the pea pods produced the majority, 80%, of the healthy peas. Because of this, he learned that only a few of people controlled 80% of Italy's land, the equivalent of 20% of the total population. In fact, this idea is all around us at all times. This is only one example. Your wardrobe's 80-20 rule is the 20 items you wear most frequently. About 80% of the value of a book is concentrated in only a few pages. Only a few of the company's clients account for the bulk of its income. A small percentage of my videos, around 20%, account for a large percentage of my YouTube success, about 80% of my subscribers and views. The 80-20 rule, or the Pareto Principle, is ubiquitous. Of course, the converse is also correct. That means the remaining 80% are contributing only 20% of output. This is not a rule of thumb that applies in every circumstance, though. Not usually 80-20, it may be 70-30 or 90-10 or anything else. The main idea is that a small number of factors have a disproportionately large impact. The majority of things lead to a minority of effects. Now that we have demonstrated the validity of this idea, we may examine implications for regular life usage. Time is the most valuable commodity we have. No one is given more or less time than everyone else. However, most of us waste this valuable resource. Being active versus idle is not the same thing. People generally believe that putting in longer hours would improve their productivity. However, the quality of your time investment matters more than the quantity of it. It's likely that you're just starting out in life if you haven't already started using the Pareto Principle in the midst of a lot of activity. The approach, when applied properly, however, allows you to accomplish more with less resources. Remember how we stated that the first 20% of a book contains the bulk of the text? That indicates that reading merely 20% of the book will yield 80% of the benefits. Assume you spend 10 hours reading the entire book. In accordance with the 80-20 rule, the Pareto Principle tells us that 20% of our input produces 80% of our results. Can be located in less than a day. You could, indeed, go in farther and get more in-depth knowledge if you so desired, but do keep in mind that we'll probably need to put in 8 hours of work to obtain the last 20% of the details. Your opinion on whether or not it's worthwhile will determine the outcome. The 80-20 principle is also useful if you are a student. You can never expect a test to cover all you've learned. Never. If not, the test would be 50 pages long. You can earn a passing score if you demonstrate that you have mastered only 20% of the material covered in class. Stands above anything else as crucial. 2 hours of focused study on the proper material is more effective than 4 on irrelevant material. Incorrect subject for 7 days in a row. Again, you could review the entire textbook and still obtain a perfect score. However, if excelling in school is not a high goal for you, then you may as well not bother. A Pareto analysis of your friendships is also possible. Typically, you'll discover that a small group of people, say, 20%, are responsible for the vast majority of your happiness and the satisfaction you derive from interacting with other people. The other 80% of your friends are actually providing you with zero satisfaction. You don't have to fully sever ties with your pals, but you also don't have to pour your life's savings into maintaining them. Spend an equal amount of time with each of your pals. Few close friends are more preferable to many distant ones. Because of this, you should concentrate your efforts on the top 20% of activities that bring you the greatest joy. Spend less time on the remaining 20%. The Pareto Principle, sometimes known as the 80-20 rule, can be summarized as follows. It has broad applicability, from the professional to the personal spheres. Finding the top 20% of activities that yield the highest results will free you to focus on those activities. Action, with the hope of increasing the expected result. It aids in the reduction of the 80% of activities that provide just 20% of value. Regarding the findings, Your ability to think quickly and concentrate on what matters most will be fostered. Consider which efforts might be most fruitful if you were to increase your focus on them, and double down on those that seem promising. That's something you need to get rid of. Write out your plans for applying the 80/20 rule in the space provided here. It's interesting how I only wear around 20% of my shoes 80% of the time. This is why I got rid of the unused 80% and threw them away. Is occupying some of my room. Hi there, and thanks for checking out the video.